Hey guys, Sam from Everything PSP here. It's been a really long time since I posted anything, so I thought to celebrate hitting 3,000 subs, we'd do something a little bit different. I've recently picked up a TV that can run on 12 volts DC. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a circuit that is going to let us run the TV in my car. The TV does have inputs for the PSP video out, and it can also run an emulator as well. So we're going to go through the components. I'm going to assemble the adapter, and then we're going to give it a go in the car. So to get started, just a quick bill of materials. I've got a multimeter, just always handy to have one when you're doing electronics to make sure everything's working correctly. You can kind of test as you go. I've got this little voltmeter little cell that we're going to insert into the housing. So we're going to fit that on top, and that's going to give us a constant reading. We've got just a small soldering iron. We only have to solder 4 wires in this setup, maybe 6. We've got just a standard 12 volt cigarette lighter plug. This one's rated at 5 amps. Got the voltage regulator, which we're going to look at in a bit more detail in a second. This is going to get cut off, and we're going to connect that to the regulator. So you've got into the car, through the reg. All this is basically going to do is it's going to tidy up the input voltage that we get from the car. So cigarette lighters can fluctuate from, up to 14 volts when they're running. So this is going to let us set a fixed output voltage of the 12 volts, and the TV only runs at 2 amps. So this is more than enough. We'll just open it quickly. It's really simple. You could program this, I believe, seeing as it's based on Arduino. But for our purposes, simple chip, a couple of capacitors, this potentiometer is what we will be adjusting. So basically, if I turn that little dial there, that will allow us to change so you got the input side. That will allow us to tune what voltage is coming out the other side. Having a look at it, I think it will generate a little bit of heat while it's running, but I can't imagine it's going to be too much. The signal itself that it will be receiving is pretty close to 12 volts, and it's only going to draw about 2 amps of current, so that's safely below its maximum output. This enclosure, just to keep everything tidy, so we're going to have this little guy is going to sit inside here. You can see there's quite a lot of room, so it'll sit pretty low in there. And then in the top, we're going to have this voltmeter. This is going to be measuring the input side. I was thinking about having it to measure the output to make sure that it stays at 12, but I think it's better to see the input, because if this starts to drop, that's a sign that there's something wrong with the charging circuit. The battery's not working well, or there's a problem with the alternator, or if the car is off, that we've drained the battery below a safe level. So basically, we're going to solder everything. I'm just going to kind of ADR over the top as we go. Once it's done, we'll do a little bit of quick testing as well, just to make sure it works. And then we'll probably cut the video and come back again once everything is complete, installed, and I'll show you just playing some games and stuff. And that is probably going to be a good time where I'd like to go through and show you guys what's on my PSP. So I might do this in 2 parts. I might do part 1 is we're going to go through and create this little gizmo, and then part 2 is we're going to play around with it in the car and show you guys what games I actually have on my daily PSP. And I think that's going to be a really nice way to say thank you to all of my subscribers for the support over the years. And you guys supporting the channel has allowed me to do this kind of fun stuff as and when I can. It is a hobby channel, so I do apologize for the infrequency of uploads, but the way I look at it, unless I've got something worthwhile that I feel like I want to share, I'm not just going to put a bunch of garbage content out. So hopefully someone finds this interesting, and we'll get stuck into it. Right there, that's all I need. nice long bit of wire. We'll save that for later. This now is going to get split just a little. We don't need to go crazy because the board is quite small. Just divide those, and then we're going to strip them back. 1.5. I'll probably do. And if I'm using any of these tools incorrectly, don't at me. You can mention it in the comments if you want. But I mean, this is pretty simple DIY level stuff. Okay, so we've got our nice bits of wire here. Now we're going to solder that onto our voltage regulator. So this was like 10 bucks maybe NZ. So this is the negative on top of this pair, and then the bottom pair is positive, so that's better. That's how that's going to line up. So input side, we've got negative, positive, okay, and then we're going to fold the wires in, up, and over like this. Cool, that can just sit outside for now. Cool, so I need them to go in vertically. Okay, so positive out goes there, negative out. Okay, so I really want to get these to go out vertically. So we're going to solder the back up to turbo. A bit of flux. Turn the iron. On the pad. Okay, give it a clean. A little bit of tin on the pad. Yes, you can see these two at the bottom. That's the ones I've just done for the output. The ones at the top were the input, which you can see on the other side. This is not award-winning work, but I'm just showing you, you know, just in the space of 4 joints, they've gotten a little bit better. So I quite enjoy it, even though I'm not good at it. I still have fun with it. We've pretty much done it now. So we can just feed this back in. Cool. All right, so this is our setup at the moment. I'm going to get a multimeter on the other end. We're going to plug it in and see if the voltage turns on. Then we're going to play around with this little screw. We're going to try and get that to do 12 volts. And then we're going to plug it into the TV and just see if it works. if it does work, we might well just leave this plug as the output. But yeah, I'm just interested to see what happens. So we're gonna stop the video now, run out to the car, do a bit of testing with the multimeter, see if we can dial in the voltage. If we can get that running a nice happy 12, then we'll plug it into the TV and see what happens. Okay, so we're in the car. The ignition is on. We've got 13.6 volts coming out of the cigarette lighter. And if I run a multimeter, I'm going to turn it to parameter of 20 volts. Okay, I've just had to switch orientation, but you can see there's our voltage there, 13.6 going into the back, and then you've got our plug here. The outside is the negative, so I'll hold that. The positive is in the middle, so I'll stick the probe in there, and then if I hold those together like this and turn the multimeter around, you can see that is reading 12 volts. So that means that that's our output voltage, and that's our input, 13.9. Sorry, 13.6. And that's reading pretty stable, 12 volts or 19.99. So now the next thing to do is to test it under load. And probably the easiest way we can do that is to skip a few steps. And I think we are going to go straight into testing it with our TV. So this is a little Vion 12 volt DC TV I picked up in the weekend from the op shop for really cheap. And I think we've wasted enough time trying to get this fucking thing to work, so why not just plug it in and see what happens. Okay, I plugged it in. I'm turning it on. I don't know if you can see this, but the TV's working. No signal, but it does work. All right, okay, so hang on, I'll just I'll go get the console and we'll see if we can play some games on the car TV. Okay, so even just on accessory running at 11.7 volts, so anything below 12 volts is just going to be a pass-through on that circuit. It's going, I've got a Raspberry Pi plugged into the USB socket, which is separate, just from the car, USB, 5 volts into here, HDMI going into the screen. We've got a wireless PlayStation 3 controller here. So that about wraps it up for today. Thanks again to everyone for helping me reach 3,000 subs. In the next video, as part of this series, I'll be plugging in my daily PSP to this car TV, and we'll go through, I'll show you guys all the games that I actually play, which is kind of like my ultimate recommendation list. Some good hidden gems, some classics in there, just a really good mix of different things, and it's another way to show off, you know, this little TV that we've made. If you've got any suggestions for future content you want me to cover, please let me know in the description below, and I'll see you next time on Everything PSP.